Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. Thank you for joining today. Today we'll be going over the PTP 820 All Indoor Solution with Alan Yu. He is our product manager for the line, and so without further ado, Alan, take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. Good morning, everyone. So today we're going to talk about 820 All Indoor. So this is a new product we're going to introduce this month, and shortly you will see we're going to talk about more features, functions, configurations of RFU of this All Indoor support. So for PTP 820, so today we have released the S and C and G, which is the full outdoor and split configuration. With the introduction of the RFU-A, we will be able to offer our all indoor solution on 820. It is a 820G modem with the all indoor RFU-A radios. So from screen you can see is we're going to have we're going to cover the 6 gigahertz and 11 gigahertz, and we do have the two different RFU-A modules. One is the high power version, and the other one is the ultra high power version. So basically the high power version will support up to 33 dBm, and the ultra high power will support up to 35 dBm. It's a very powerful radio, and you can see it's when we are running on 256 QAM, the high power version will support 32 dB, and the ultra high power version supports 34 dB at 256 QAM. The highest modulation is 2K QAM, and the good thing for this one is when we have the design, we're trying to make everything simple. So all the radio modules, they can share the same chassis. All the branch unit are the same. The only part is, they have there is the transceiver module. There is one high power version, one is ultra high power. The MTBF is 110 years, so it's a very high quality design. So when we let's just review some of the 820G interface because we're going to share the common the modem with the existing 820G. So the 820G is a compact design. One device, we can host up to 2 radios, and it has. If we start from left, the modem always have a dual feed for DC minus 48, and then this one new chassis can hold 2 radios. You can go with up to 6 gigi port. 2 of them is ST module, or it's a fiber interface. We support local. There's 2 management port, and also the local access, the port here. On this port, we have the TDM interface for TDM reference clock. It gives you the reference clock for T1 or E1. Then we have the external alarm interface to support the external I/O. And then there is optional, you can go with up to 16 T1 or E1. So this 820G interface. When we take a further look for the RFU-A, which is the new radio we're going to introduce. So this is how the RFU looks like. So you have the a chassis, and on one new chassis, we can host 2 of the RFU-A. You can populate one on the left side. There is another one on the right side. So if you go with see a 1+1 configuration or 2+ with single polarity, then just a 1 new device, it will be able to host 2 radios. In the middle of the chassis, there is a plug-in module called branch unit. This is frequency dependent, and on the back was the circulator and the extension waveguide, and then from the waveguide output, you will be able to connect to your, through the waveguide to the antenna. Very compact design, and we see a big advantage for the customers to replace some of the existing, microwave, which take quite a lot of space on the rack. So when they upgrade their network to the 820 all indoor, it will save them a lot of rack space. So further thing we talk about this one is basically this is a breakup by the RFU components. So if you look at here, the RFU-A, it's a transceiver module. It contains the transmit and receive. And we have one module covers the whole frequency band for, like one for the whole lower 6 gigahertz, and one covers the whole complete upper 6, and one for 11 gigahertz. So, you don't need to have, it doesn't like CRS, you have so many different subbands. For all indoor, one transceiver module covers the whole, covers the complete band. So you have very simple spare story. And the RF components, they're passive device, so there's, you don't need to worry about replacement or, those kind of things. And then there's RFU-A cover from the front. There's the branch unit is installed in the middle. So very simple and flexible design here. So we're going to talk about some key features for RFU-A. So the RFU-A designed for 6 and 11 gigahertz, support channel size from 10 to 40 megahertz. We will support from QPSK to 2K QAM with hitless and errorless ACM. We will also support the adaptive ACM mode, meaning is when you enable ACM, your transfer power is not limited by certain modulation. Basically, your transfer power, you can always transfer on the highest power on that modulation mode. So when you go from, let's take example saying, if the radio shift from 2048 QAM down to 256 QAM, then at the 2048 QAM, the radio will be able to transmit on 27 dBm. When they shift to 250, the radio will be able to transmit on 32 dB. So so you will see like 5 dB gain just on transfer power. On the other side, because of ACM modulation change, you will see another 6 dB. Actually, in this case, we're gonna see about 8 dB from the receive sensitivity change. So combined together, you will get more system gain when the ACM kick in. In addition, we also support the green mode for power consumption. Meaning is when the TX power reduced, we will also reduce the power consumption accordingly. So this will save a lot of energy. And also, when you have this, when we have the radio works on the lower TX power, transfer power, it also extends the component's lifetime. So you have a better, longer lifetime for the radio. It's a very, as we said earlier, the design is a very compact design, and we're gonna show you later about the flexible there, because it's a modular base, and so you will be able to change from different. If you are changing configuration, say from 1+0 to 1+1, and you could do that on site without even tear down your network. So it's an in-service, changing the configuration. So it's a very good, design. Give you this flexibility. We do support ATPC, auto power control, and we have a very rapid ramping speed for that. So can cope with the RF condition change, the fading change. As we said earlier, it's one transceiver module covers the complete band. So that's a good thing for when you design the whole network around, say, lower 6. Then the only spare unit you need to worry about is the transceiver module, and that's just one. So it's a very simple story there. This lists the power. So basically, for the RFU-A high power, the 2K QAM is 27 dBm, and QPSK is 33 dBm. From QPSK to 128 QAM, it's all 33. and then start to 32 and 29 in the 512 QAM and 1K QAM. Power consumption for the so this is the green mode thing. When we have the different transfer power, we will adjust the we will also lower the power consumption accordingly. So if we go with 1+1 house standby setup, in the maximum transfer power, the power consumption is 101 watts. And when we move to the when the transfer power go lower, and it will go down accordingly. Say if you transmit on the 11 to 19 dB, your power consumption will be only 67 watts. So compared with our 800 or 810 out indoor, this is a significant cost reduction. Power, lower power consumption. It's almost cut by 50%. So we're going to talk about some of the detailed configuration. What is the configuration support on A20G? For the out indoor, we support from the 1+0, very common setup. You can also use the same device to do the 1+0 east-west, meaning it's a linear setup. You have one link shoot for east and one link shoot for west. In this case, you will be able to, using a single RFU, single PTP 820G modem, and then you need two RFU-A chases. With a 3U configuration, you can do east-west configuration. If you do the next configuration, we can support is a 2+0 single polarity. So 2+0 single polarity, you only need 2U space, 1U for the 820G modem, and 1U for the RFU-A. You will be able to support a 2+0 configuration with single polarity. For 2+0 dual polarity, we will need 3U space, 1U for the modem, and 2U for the RFU-A, and 1 for the H and 1 for the V. We will be able to support that configuration. We also support protect configuration, very commonly 1+1 house standby, or 1+1 house standby with spatial diversity. We're going to cover a little bit more details later there to show actually within the house standby configuration, if you want to take the advantage for the antenna redundancy, we will also give you a configuration called split transmit mod configuration. You will be able to run also the a house standby with the antenna redundancy as well. As we said earlier, because of this modular design in RFU-A, you will be able to configure the, you will be able to change the configuration between the 1+0 to 2+0 or 1+1. We reuse the, the chassis, just replacing depending on the cases. You may just need to replace add the RFU-A or replace the branch unit. Then you will be able to change configurations between the 1+0, 2+0, and 1+1. So when you change from 1+0, let's say I have a 1+0 today, and for my east direction, and I want to add additional capacity there. So I want to add another one for the 2+0. If I do that one, and I will be able to run the basically if we go with a single pole, and we could plug in the RFU-A unit, and you will be able to change from 1+0 to 2+0. When you change 2+0 to 1+1, you just need changing the branch unit, and you will be able to change between those. Same thing is when I add the RFU-A and changing the branch unit, I can change from 1+0 to 1+1 configuration. So here I'm going to show some more details on this. The very simple configuration is 1+0. So you have the one transceiver module, and then you have a 1+0 branch unit with a circulator and extend of the waveguide. So basically, is that we call this L1 waveguide. So this is the setup. Then the antenna will be connected through the waveguide connect to this port, that is a 1+0 configuration. Within the to talk a little bit more about this thing. So when we have the setup here, you will be able to measure the receive level from the RFU-A. So just nearby the fan port, there is the RSL port. You can measure the voltage there to know your receive level for your alignment. And also within the branch unit, there is a port you will be able to measure the transfer power of the antenna port, the RFU port for the antenna, and also there is another port on the RFU-A from the front panel here. You will be able to measure the frequency stability of the RFU-A, and then there is a cover the RFU-A. That's the things you need. When you change to a 2+0 single pole configuration, as we said, you still need to just one U space. You populate 2 of the RFU-A into the space, and then with a 2+0 branch unit with a circulator and the L extend waveguide, and you will finish with this 2+0 single polarity configuration. So this show a diagram here is basically you have one U here, or one RFU here, and one RFU here. They're gonna go through the branch unit, and then combine there, send to the circulator, and then transmit to the antenna. When we do a 2+0 dual polarity, or when we do a 2+0 XP configuration with all indoor, we will need one chassis support one polarity. So in this case, relatively they're independent. One of the RFU-A is populated in one of the chassis, sent to the each polarity, and the other radio RFU-A is populated in another chassis with a 1+0 branch unit, go to the horizontal polarization, and the RFU will take 2 U space, and with the 820G modem 1 space, you need 3 U space to do this 2+0 dual polarity, and that is the 2+0. When we move to hot standby, so this give you example for the 1+1 hot standby, no spatial diversity. So when we have this setup, we can put 2 RFU-A on the same chassis, one on the left, one on the right, and with a 1+1 branch unit, we will be able to support a 1+1 hot standby with just one chassis on the RFU-A. Together with the 820G, it's a 1 U chassis with 2 radios there. So 2 U space, we will be able to support a 1+1 hot standby configuration. So this is another configuration with spatial diversity. So we could support hot standby with spatial diversity. For many people, when you deploy RFU-A, especially for the customer in the like public safety market or the utility market, the normal link distance is relatively long. You have a 30 or 40 miles link. If you have a flat terrain or the link is over the water, in many cases you will need spatial diversity. When you run a spatial diversity, well, then you have 2 radios, and automatically, you have all the hardware device there, and we will bring the so basically for all spatial diversity link, we automatically bring in the hot standby there. So it's always a hot standby with spatial diversity setup. And in this setup specifically, so you're going to have one RFU sending for the main antenna, the other RFU sending to the secondary antenna, and they will go through the they will go through a 1+0 branch unit, The good thing for this one is because it's a hot standby, so the secondary is always muted, and only in the cases you have a failure on the branch on the main unit line, you may do a switch. So when you do the switch, the transmitter will switch from the main antenna to the secondary antenna, and so it gives you a redundancy on the antenna part. If you have the if you have something wrong with the main dish, you could switch the secondary antenna. In addition, because we're not go through the 1+1 branch unit, it goes through a 1+0 branch unit. Compared to a 1+0, compared to a regular like previous 1+1 setup, this setup also gave you 2.4 dB additional gain on a system level. So you will benefit from 2.4 dB gain, and also the redundancy on the antenna part. So when we do the hot standby with space diversity, we can also support this setup here, which is the basically a hot standby, but the both transmit is on the transmit is on the main antenna, and the diversified antenna only do the receiver end. So so this one, in this case, you could have a smaller antenna for the diversified antenna. So let's say you have the main dish is 6 foot, and you have a 4 foot or 3 foot diversified antenna. And in that case, your transmit all go with the main dish. So you do have a 1+1 branch unit here, and compare with the configuration here for the split transmitter. So this one, you will have 2.4 dB less compared with the split transmit. But this one, you could have a smaller dish on the diversified antenna because this is only the receiver pass. But then your transmit, it all goes to the main dish. So we saw the customers have both configurations used in the past, and so I think depends on your link distance, power load, those factors, and you have a flexible design here. You can either go with the standard transmit configuration like this one, or you could go with a split transmit configuration like this one. There's pros and cons, and I think the good thing to have is you have the flexible to choose. If you have the if you have the two same size antenna, I would prefer go with a split transmit configuration because this gave you 2.4 dB additional on the system gain. But if you want to have a smaller dish on the diversified antenna, and you transmit both things on the main dish, and standard configuration, transmit configuration could be a good choice for you. So this is basically configuration we will support with the RFU-A device. The part number is available to order, and so if you have a requirement for using the all indoor, we're here to help you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask our sales engineers, or you can contact our support team or our channel partners. We're here to help. So I think that's pretty much the content we want to cover today. So going back to the main page to see if there's any questions we have.
So if there's any questions, guys, feel free to just type them into the question box, and we will go over them here. Well, Alan, looks like you did a good job because so far there's no questions.
All right. If there's no other questions, we will post this webinar on the web page. If you have, once you read through, if you have further questions, you can definitely send to us, or you can post your questions to the forum. We do have 820 forum on the web. You can also post your question there. and we're happy to provide the answer for you.
Well, thank you, Alan. Yes, just like we had a question that come in. The presentation will be sent after this. We'll just convert it, and it will be emailed out to everyone. And then it will also be posted on the community. So like Alan just specified, if there's any questions, please feel free to go on there, ask any questions in the forum. You can learn a bunch of stories and maybe even talk about your own deployments and what you guys have done yourselves. But without further ado, thank you so much, Alan. And I want to thank you all for joining. Have a good day.
Thank you.